This is the Baltimore Underground Radio Podcast. Showcasing local musicians, playing songs, and getting the interview. We'll also bend your ear about gear. Baltimore, we are sick with talent. Put your ears on. It's time to listen. And your ears may just turn pink. In this week's episode, host Bronson Hoover interviews master lighting designer and larger-than-life personality, Groove. Rated RRR for language. Raucous, raunchy, and real.
It was the late 1990s. My wife and I had been dating for only 2 days when we decided to grab lunch in Fells Point. She comes from a buttoned-down community in the conservative suburbs of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm this quirky, once-divorced, broke musician trying to impress a woman clearly above my station. I hadn't planned on introducing her to my artist friends just yet, but as we're headed south on Broadway, we turn the corner and run smack into a dear friend of mine, a man his own mother calls Groove. Groove is part rock star, part biker, part hippie, part philosopher. His body is covered in ink, his hair is long and sandy blonde. He's got big eyes and his nose is always just a little bit red. His smile wraps you up like a great big bear hug, which is signature Groove. When he gives you a hug, get comfortable. It's going to be a minute. Groove is an artist behind the light board. Don't take my word for it. Just ask Grateful Dead guitarist Bob Weir. For many years, Groove was the house LD at the famed 930 Club in Washington, D.C. And in 2006, Bob Weir's band Rat Dog came to town. Groove got on the bus, and he didn't get off. He toured the world with Rat Dog, which led to tours with the high-energy band Gogol Bordello and the hottest group on the touring circuit, the Tedeschi Trucks Band. Interviewing my old friend Groove is like riding the tail of a dragon. We recorded over 2 hours of conversation, sitting under a tree behind his house near Upper Marlboro. I'm not going to lie, editing this conversation was a challenge. Groove jumps from topic to topic like a verbal collage with ADD. Groove is a keen student in modern politics, and he can talk about pro football, especially his beloved Ravens, for hours. But I really wanted to keep him on task discussing music and lighting. All right, so I have to start off by setting the scene. First of all, I'm getting eaten alive by the mosquitoes because it's August and we're near D.C., and that's what happens in August near D.C. But I'm sitting under a tree that Groove calls the hugging tree. And when Groove told me on the phone that he had a tree called the hugging tree, and I knew that during the time of COVID, I wasn't going to be able to actually hug the man, the myth, the legend himself, first thing I said was, man, we got to do this interview under the hugging tree. So we are outside, sitting about 8 feet apart, right?
I'd say 10.
10? You probably know better than me.
Yeah, it's 10.
It's 10. Your legs are stretched out. You look comfy.
Oh, I'm comfy, man.
So in 83, you're 15 years old. You just got out of rehab, and that's something I want to ask you about too. I forgot that story. And you see the Grateful Dead in 1983 at 15 years old, and that inspired you to get into this whole racket in the first place, which is so cool because, as we'll get to later, you end up coming full circle, and you end up being like Bob Weir's,
guy.
Dude, yeah. So
I've always been known as Bobby's guy.
So how amazing is that after all, at the age of 15 to
my God, it's
however
amazing.
old you are now, 39 or whatever it is you are, right?
39.
So
yeah. I couldn't pass for 39 even if I was showered and all,
Yeah. So the late 80s. You joined a band called the 69 Band, which, knowing you as I've known you for the years, that's the perfect band name for you to be involved with.
That's when I was a slut. I was a slut. I wasn't a whore because I didn't get paid. I was a slut. I just did it for the feel.
Just did it for the for the freedom. So
not for the deal, for the feel.
For the feel. So you did the 69 Band for a few years, and then you went to broadcasting school in the 90s, and then you and I met in 97, according to your bio, because
we met in 96.
See, you're way better at dates than me, man.
Oh, no, I
Always
told you,
have
I
been.
got a good memory, which is crazy, because it's just like, those motherfuckers lied to us growing up. It's like, you know how much acid I ate to stockpile as just kind of like a bank account for future. I was just like, this shit is great. I'm going to eat a whole weekend's worth.
It didn't work?
And just go away. That's when I had a lot of free time. And I have not had one flashback. And it's just like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. It's a drag because they lied. And they also said that, you know, drugs will, like, you know,
melt your brain.
Yeah. Doesn't work. I remember everything like it's yesterday. I mean, I can do shit verbatim and see it in a movie in my head. You know?
You were like, I don't know, Jamie Lee Curtis is well known for being able to recall any date. You ask her a specific day of any year, and she can tell you exactly what she was doing on that day. There's a name for that, which I'm going to have to look up at some point. But that's amazing. You are close to that, dude. If I asked you a month and a year, I bet you can tell me where you are.
I can nail it like close. You know, it's
not the day.
I wouldn't bet my check on, you know, that I would like hit it right on.
Yeah, but a month you'd be pretty good.
I think 9 out of 10 I would hit it. You know, there's a few that I'll like mistake, and you know, over the years shit gets blurred, but I do remember what was happening, and you know, so I can get it, like, you know, I'm no Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean,
well, no, obviously you were not Jamie Lee Curtis. So we met in '96 then when I was in a funk band called JJ, and we can come back to that later. But then right after that, you started working with Tim Walther Productions, which was pretty cool. Tim Walther is still man around town. He books everywhere. And back then, dude, I remember watching him by himself go from car to car in parking lots to put flyers in
that's how he got started, because he was the flyer guy for God Street Wine
for everybody.
That's why he always held them near and dear when he was like starting to branch out. You know, and people were like, you know, and I like those guys. I mean, everybody I worked with, you know, I liked. You know, I've had like disagreements with people, and that's going to happen, but at the same point, you know, I was just doing my thing. But
I don't know if you remember, but at the time I was booking the band I was in, JJ.
Yes.
And to get into the 930 Club, which we did on a killer night, we opened for
G-Love and the Special Sauce.
G-Love and the Special Sauce.
Because me and you were painting that day. And then we drove down there, and I was so shocked that they actually had showers
in the dressing rooms.
The dressing rooms. I mean, not just the headliner, but the openers. So we actually got to
it's a
go
real
down
venue.
There, load in the roads, get set up, and then take showers before we got a chance to like practice.
Yeah, and man,
it was great.
When you dropped the soap, man, that was something. That was something.
Now that enough time has passed, I can honestly say I did that on purpose.
I knew it then.
Oh
man.
yeah,
I knew it then.
I mean, I didn't know if you noticed that back thrust, but you know,
well,
I was asking for it.
I mean, it wasn't that big.
I was asking.
It wasn't that big of a shower.
Well, yeah.
And you and I had worked the whole day doing painting gigs, right?
But hey. We made sure that we were spick and span,
clean.
And we got every drop of paint off of each other.
Yes, we did.
I remember that.
Clean
that
as a
was
whistle.
Wonderful. Hey, I would drop the soap for you anytime.
Oh, you're sweet. But I digress. So we were doing the whole JJ Orange Whip, playing the local stuff, and you ended up hooking up with the IMP guys and started working at the 930 Club for a couple of years. And in 2003, according to your 4,000 page bio that you gave me, in 2003, you joined the Film Union 487 and you started doing The Wire. And I say
second season of The Wire.
Second season, and I remember finding out like a year in that you were doing that. I don't remember how that happened. Like, how did you end up going from working 930 Club to all of a sudden you're working on crew for like the hottest show on television?
Because I used to, all my friends in Fells Point, you know, we used to hang out at Miss Irene's, which is no longer, rest in peace. And
wait, do we need a moment of silence?
I was freelancing, doing steel, you know, building stages with the steel.
Yeah.
And I went back into the steel business because it was summertime, you know, and I needed to make some money because I was fucking starving. They weren't paying shit, and I was commuting from Baltimore to D.C. every fucking day. I mean, there were some times when we had turnarounds where it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we had to do a load in at 7. And I was like, fuck that. And they would like lock me in the headliner dressing room. And it was great because, you know, I knew before I put it in my gig bag, an extra pair of socks, extra shirt.
Well, and they had a shower.
Wake up, I'd take a shower, and then I'd come down, coffee was ready. It was like great. It was just like, all right, let's unload this truck. But I'm glad I'm semi-retired. You know, it's like, you know, my last bus tour was 15 with Tedeschi Trucks and Sharon Jones and Dap Kings and Doyle Brommel. I set your mom up with that.
Yeah.
And my mom got sick because that was the first time they were supposed to meet.
Crazy.
But at Mary was the first time they actually met. They didn't believe each other existed.
Yep.
And I told them, I said, you guys are exactly alike, you know?
Yep. We have very similar mothers.
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, it just shows like people that we are and how we grew up and that we're empaths.
Yep.
You know?
It's true.
I mean, we were brought up on karma and crystals.
Yeah, man.
You know, I mean, that's the best religion, you know? Everything else is just a club. You know, it's just like being in a motorcycle club and like wearing Hell's Angels or Outlaws or Banditos or Pagans on your back. If you don't jive with us, man, you know, you're not in our club. Crystals and Karma is about the universe. Yeah. Everybody's in that club. Even if they don't even accept the club, they're still in the club.
True.
And what goes around comes around, you know. That was the best thing I ever learned from my mom was like, you know, because I get so angry and I have such a rage. I just want to, like, you know, kill people. And she was just like, you know what? She was like, then you got to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to deal with that. And if you get caught, you got to cop to that.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing she told me when I was like a teenager. Well, actually,
I wasn't
even a teenager. I was probably about 3rd or 4th grade when my parents split. I think I was in 3rd grade. But I remember when we moved into our house with my mom and my brother without my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she sat us down on the bed and, you know, she was talking to us. And my brother was like, you know, a year younger and just kind of like not involved and just in his own thing, looking at the ceiling. But she like locked eyes with me and she was like, hey, look, I don't know everything. I'm figuring it out. As I figure it out, I will tell you. But please, as you figure it out, please tell me. You know, we're in this together. And I mean, that was her whole approach ever since I was a kid. You know, of like,
man, how did that transpire? I've known you forever.
Right.
And I've seen Annoyed Groove, but I've never seen Angry Groove, like,
because
ever.
I keep that in check. I studied Tai Chi for like about 2.5 years and went into advanced Tai Chi. I really need to get back into that, man, just to like center myself and get myself loose and shit like that.
How old were you when you were able to figure out how to push anger down? How old was that?
I really didn't learn it until my mid-20s.
Was there like a moment, or was that a progression?
It wasn't a moment. It was just an awakening. So, you know, I need to control it. And then I, like, you know, remembered a lesson that my mom had taught me when I was younger. Is like, the best way to hurt someone is not to kill them, but take your energy away. Because they're attracted to your energy. They feed off it. They need it. So...
Apparently, a pilot at Andrews Air Force Base was feeding off of Groove's energy too, because for the next 10 minutes, a jet circled above our heads, ruining our recording and forcing us to take a break. On the positive side, it gave me an opportunity to refocus our conversation into stage lighting.
So I want to touch a little bit on your process as you open that Guinness. Yeah, get that closer to the mic, man. We need the fizz sound effect.
I wanted to give you a little bit of I'm sure people can hear it in the background.
They can. It's nice. That's nice. But I want to talk.
Tell you what. I'll give you a pop.
Okay, a pop from the Woodford.
Pop on the Woodford.
Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh,
I know you heard that.
Look at that.
That was
That's
great.
Beautiful.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers, brother. I want to ask you about your process because
whatever.
I mean,
ask me anything.
I'm going to. I'm asking you right now. You.
I thought you were like warning me that hey, watch out, it's coming.
No.
I'm not going to tell you when, but it's coming.
Nope. It already came.
Okay, so we're in it. Man.
We're in it. It already.
We're soaking in it. Thanks, Madge.
We're already in it.
I didn't realize I was soaking in it.
You're soaking in it, man, in the Woodford.
What about that fucking commercial?
What?
The palm olive.
What do you
Madge would stick the hand in this gel, and they wouldn't question it.
No.
And then they'd be like, oh, this is soothing. What is it? Oh, it's dishwashing liquid. What? It was like they could have just had like vomit or diarrhea and stuck their hand in there and just said, oh, what is this? It's vomit, diarrhea.
Yeah.
Oh! Don't you ask those questions before you stick your hand in?
Yeah, normally. But she got paid.
It's like, hey, what's that green stuff? Oh, it's good for the fingers. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But I digress.
Hey, man, I blame it on the chemicals.
So I want to ask you about your process because you obviously have a process. I mean, Rat Dog and Gogol Bordello and Tedeschi Trucks is liking you because your mantra with lighting is what's your mantra? I know you have one.
I just want to make people see what they're hearing.
People see what they're hearing.
Honestly, it's just like, if it's hot, it's hot. If it's cool, it's cool. It's just like, if it really needs, if the room needs a fucking hug, man, now that I'm learning these moving lights that all the kids are into these days.
Yeah.
Because I'm an old school par can guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like you swing it out and you hit them.
Yeah.
And then you swirl it and then you move it around a little bit. And you just like make everybody feel what they're hearing. And it's like pulling them in. And it's like we're all one. And that's, I don't know. That's what I want to get across is it's like I'm listening to the fucking music. I know the music. If I don't know the music, which I learned at 930 Club, which really helped me, I do sellout shows for bands I never heard of. I mean, I remember my first sellout show. It was like my third day as LD at the 930 Club, and it was Elliott Smith. Never heard of him. Sold out show. So I just kind of had to run with it. But, if you know music and study music like I have, I mean, I used to sit in front of the stereo, the first thing my parents ever bought together, and I still have it. And it's just like I'd sit in front of it and just read album covers, especially the double albums, and I would learn who sat on this song, who did this, who did that. And instead of reading books, I went from Judy Blume to album covers. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
I can't hear you. Turn it up. That's funny.
But seriously, and it was like after that, man, it was like, I started just like devouring Cream magazine and Circus.
But when you get a call,
fucking, Hit Parader, it was like I wanted to know everything about the band, what they thought about when they did this song, and what was, I just tried to find all that info because I just needed that.
Yeah.
And, I thought that I was like weird when I was a kid because it was almost like I lived in a cartoon, and anytime I heard music, I would just see things, and I would see like, colors and shapes and, and I was just like, I didn't understand it. And it wasn't until I think I was in 6th or 7th grade when I first took acid. And all of a sudden it was just like, everything made sense. It's like, of course you're supposed to see this, of course this is supposed to affect you. And, you got like all these like, healers and stuff like that say colors really like, change moods and change people and surround yourself with this and that. And it was like, I took a little bit of that, I don't like, fault them for their beliefs, but it's kind of like religion. I just take a little bit of everything and I throw it together.
When you get that first call to do a show, when you, like, say, Jay Lane from Primus is the one who called you for Rat Dog, right?
Jay Ski was the first one. He's the one that called me to, like, do the gig, and I was like, fuck yeah.
So he calls you, and obviously your first thought is, sweet, I'm going on tour with Rat Dog. But then your next thought is to, listen to Rat Dog and study it and think about the hits? Or, like, what's your process? How do you analyze, how do you prepare for the show? Like, what are you thinking before you get there? Or are you feeling, is it all improv? Is it all the mood?
My whole gig with Rat Dog was improv.
Okay.
Nothing was ever talked to me.
Okay.
Except for my first tour before I really got the hang of moving lights and that you like fly them and stuff like that. And it wasn't a big hassle, but my first tour, I put, lights on boxes and, the only thing Bobby ever said to me, and we were like, having a beer together and stuff like that. And it was just like, it was like me, him, and his guitar tech, AJ, who was basically, the leader of our roadie tribe. And he just said, just be careful. He goes, the only thing I hate to see the hot chicks in the front, like, close their eyes and like, freak out when the lights drop on them. And, so I thought about that. And then whenever I did stuff, because I wanted that silhouette behind the band.
Yeah.
I already had the colors with the cans coming from the front and truss rig. So I was just trying to do uplighting, do it differently, and shadow the band and light the crowd. My third gig out, Candace Brightman, who was the LD for the Dead, we were in St. Paul, and I think she was with Widespread Panic still. This is like 06. And so they flew in an extra night, so she came out to see everybody and all that. And I'm like programming the lights, and I get this like, call on the radio, Groove, come on down to the stage. There's this chick that wants to like talk to you. I was just like, huh? I don't know anybody in Minneapolis, but I could see her down there, long hair and all that. And I was just like, what the fuck? So I went down there, and, my buddy Shiruki, who was a legend himself, introduced me to Candace and said, this is Candace. And I said, Brightman? You used to do the Lights for the Dead. You're the one that made me want to do what I'm doing.
Wow.
And she like threw her arms around me and like pulled me in for this like fucking intense hug. And, you know, not sexual, you know, just like that energy and just like that passing the torch. And she was just like, take care of my guys. They're good guys. And she goes, good luck, and I hope everything works out the way you want it. And it has. But, man, I got the chick that started it all for me in 83, like, giving me her blessing and passing the torch and saying, do your thing.
That's
Take
phenomenal.
care of these guys. Yeah. It was like,
so how did you get the call for Gogol Bordello? And when you got that call, same sort of question. Were you? I mean, first of all, everyone knows that they're big on purple, right? You're always in purple.
So I tried to move the conversation to Groove's next big gig as the LD for the raucous Gogol Bordello. Do yourself a favor and look up their set at Coachella in 2008. They're a real crowd pleaser, and their signature tune is called Start Wearing Purple. Groove is a rabid Baltimore Ravens fan who's been wearing purple for years. When I asked him if the guys in Gogol Bordello liked that he had dyed his beard purple, he went into a 15-minute-long historical review of the Ravens' successes and how disappointed he's been with the direction of the Washington football team and the NFL. Thankfully, he eventually returned to the question of his purple beard.
when we win this game, I'm going to dye my beard purple. I said, and I made the appointment right after the game. And then I said, you know, everybody was like, oh, you ought to do that. And I said, I'll tell you what, when we win the Super Bowl, I will keep it purple for a whole year. So that's the story of the purple beard. And that was 12 and 13, you know, so it was about 13. So this is my last run with Gogol, but that was when we were doing a run of opening up for Primus.
Wait, Gogol was opening up for Primus?
Before Jay came back. Huh?
Gogol was opening up for Primus.
Yes.
And Jay wasn't in the band at that time.
Not at that time.
That's interesting full circle thing right there too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I met Les a long time ago, and Les was the one that turned Bobby on to Jay, because when they were ready to go out, Primus was ready to sign. You know, Jay was in the band, but he was in the studio with Charlie Hunter Quartet. And I think that was the Natty Dread album that they did, where they did All Marley. But whatever it was, he was like commissioned to the studio, and they were like, well, we got to sign this. We got to go on tour. So, you know, because he missed out on that, because him and Les go way back, and he co-wrote half of Frizzle Fry, their first couple albums, you know, and their demo tape was called Sausage. So when Les broke up Primus, you know, he still hung on to the guitar player and then brought Jay back. So it was Sausage. They called the band Sausage.
That's
they did
funny.
like one album, and it's just amazing. But oh my God, Jay Lane is like one of my favorite drummers in the world, because he could do those Dead songs, and one fucking flipped out, smoked out, tripping his ass off drummer can like fucking sound like two drummers. You know, he just makes that fill, and it just happens, and it's just like, man, that motherfucker, I love him with my life. And he's the one that called me. He was the one that just, you know, I did a gig in 04 covering for Cuz, and it just so happened to be Rat Dog. And after the gig, you know, I went up and started wrapping up cables and stuff like that and putting stuff away, getting ready to pack them up, and Gus from 930 was, the production manager.
Yeah, I remember Gus.
He was like, so how was it to do lights for them? And Jay stuck his head up from, like, undoing his bass pedal, and he goes, who did lights? And I was just kind of shy and just raised my hand. I was like, I did, because I was just like, oh shit, did I do something wrong?
Right.
And he he just came around his drum set and gave me this huge hug and just said, man, the lights were amazing. You were like a step ahead of where we were going, and we didn't even know where we were going. And I said, yeah, but I know music, and I know this music. And I said, this is where it all really started with me. So, I just wanted to do it righteously. And he goes, usually I don't pay attention to lights because they suck. People don't know what they're doing. So I just focus on Les's feet or something like that. And,
well, I don't know if you've noticed though,
but
man,
no, that's how I got the gig.
There's a recurring theme in our conversation though, and it's a hug. You got the hug from Jay Lane.
Oh yeah.
You got the hug from the Grateful Dead's original lighting, LD.
Yeah.
And we're sitting under the hugging tree.
It's all about the hug, man.
It's all about the hug.
I mean, you get those two heart chakras together, and that's the whole thing about the hug that people don't understand. Some people, can't just be, and they just lock themselves into I'll just give you a pat on the back. All right, way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
But it's like that hug is like that chi energy from the heart chakra to the heart chakra. And you can just load somebody up and you can take it back, and get it from them.
So now the sun has gone down and it's just a little bit past twilight and the fireflies are out, which is wild because...
Isn't it great? Did you ever used to catch them when you were kids and keep them in a jar?
I'm still a kid.
Do you catch them?
Yeah.
Oh, man, let's get a jar. Oh,
okay.
Wait, let's do this thing.
Let's do this thing first.
Let's do this thing. Then we'll get a jar and we'll grab some lightning bugs.
But it's cool.
Oh, man, when you... I'm against cruelty to animals and all that and shit, but, man... When you rub a lightning bug on your arm and your arm glows.
Oh, I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, well, I was kind of like a sadistic kid.
Well, what I was going to say was, as we're sitting here in the twilight, I am seeing tons of bats flying around. And, man, I wish there were more because the bugs have been eating my ankles. But it's like a nice country day.
Oh, I know. I mean, this the back 40 is like the size of a football field.
The back 40. Do you play golf? You gotta get some.
Oh, I got turned on to that when I had to put my dog down, when I had to put Harley down.
Yeah. Dude, that was a long freaking time ago.
I know, that was like 2002, man. Still hits me every now and then, man. It was weird because it happened 10 days before my birthday. So I mailed a picture that a friend of mine took and I sent it to my tattoo artist and I was like, I need to be done. Whatever you got to do, cancel it. I'm coming up on my birthday on the 21st and, I need this done. I just put my dog down. He was like, no problem. Because over the years, I sent him hundreds of people and went to him faithfully. It sucked because he retired, while I was on the 5th or 6th season of House of Cards. But I go to my buddy Chris at the Tattoo Museum, who owns that in Baltimore, and he's done my last 3, and he's just going to be my guy. Because I said, hey, I know a lot of tattoo artists, but, it's it was a whole bonding experience. And everyone that I have, tells a story. I always wanted my sleeves to tell the story. So each tattoo has a story behind it. I could do a whole book on just that.
What's the story of the sleeves?
Oh, it's just I always wanted sleeves. I was raised by bikers, and I just like that look. And I've always been into collage because of my mom. So it was just like, why get like, one or two? Why not just build sleeves and, just kind of carry your art with you instead of spending money on shit that hangs at your house, and if you're never home, you never see it.
Yeah.
It's art that you can carry with you.
So tell us.
But for every birthday, I summarize that year.
Yeah, okay.
For, what was significant that year, I'll get a tattoo for that instead of just getting one because I need a tattoo.
Yeah. Well, man, we got 2 hours of interview here.
Do you have plenty?
For me to edit. I got more interview than I can handle.
Like I said, you can have anything that you want. We'll set up again, and I could be like, there is something going on. It's like being in Baltimore again.
Once this damn plane leaves, I'm going to say goodbye.
Yeah, it's great. It's like being in Baltimore again, man, having the helicopters surround. But they don't have the spotlight out. That's the only difference.
So, Groove, I can't thank you enough, man. It's been fun sitting under the hugging tree, having a beer, drinking a little whiskey, watching the fireflies and the bats, checking out the Andrews Air Force Base planes coming and going nonstop because they know we got live mics.
Hey, man, that's the way it always happens.
Yeah, man.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Thanks, brother. It's nice to see you.
It was great seeing you, man. It's like it's such a drag I don't get to give you a hug.
Oh,
this is the first time since I've known you that I haven't been able to hug you.
Man, when this
fucking COVID,
when this fucking Rona shit's over, dude, you and I are gonna hug for like 4.5 hours.
Okay, I'm down. I mean,
and
even
it
if
won't
we
be
fall
like
asleep,
that time in the shower.
We'll hug laying down. That way, if we fall asleep,
we can
we're
cuddle.
still hugging.
That's nice. I like the cuddling idea.
Yeah, the cuddle nap.
Nap.
We're old enough, and I mean, you're secure enough with Deb, so it's like,
yeah, we're good.
We'll do the nap cuddle.
I love it. All right, man. Love you, brother.
Love you too. I hope I gave you everything that you got, and when you need more, hey, I'm not going anywhere. You know where I'm at. Hey, we'll come back here to the hugging tree.
I think we could all use a hugging tree right about now. Thanks, Groove. Hey, if you like what you heard today, please subscribe to our page, to our podcast, hit like, send us a comment, whatever you got to do on whatever app it is you're using right now. Let's make this a two-way street. Get back to us. I've got a few surprises under my hat coming up in the near future, so check back with us, burp.media, Baltimore Underground Radio Podcast.
The Baltimore Underground Radio Podcast is brought to you by Burp Media. That was a good one. We invite you to become a supporter at patreon.com/burpmedia. Supporters will have access to our online VIP room, which will include stories, photos, and interview extras, and bits from the cutting room floor. If you would like to become an official sponsor, contact us via our website at burp.media.